All right, what's up, guys? Jeff Kamke here with Wealth Energetics. I'm in the Dominican Republic for the third time, and I'm here with my good friend Sebastian Boyer. He's with the Life180 team. We met at the last Life180 event, and we're just shooting some content tonight. It's raining, so apologize if there's a bunch of background noise, but it's the Dominican, and we get a lot of rain down here. And thanks for joining me tonight, Seb. It's going to be a great conversation.
Thank you, man.
I want to learn more about what you're up to, because you do some great things. Your company's called The Approved Guy, and you do a lot of the same things I do, but you do a lot of things that are different. So I would love to know more about your process and what you do with your company and how you serve clients.
Sure, thank you. So yeah, I'm a part of the Life180 agency, right? And my personal brand is The Approved Guy, like you said. Under the agency of Life180, my team is called the Kingdom Finance Team, and I am a Kingdom citizen. All right, so that means that I give all authority to the King of the universe, which is Jesus Christ, and I teach from that standpoint of biblical financial literacy. I try to help my clients, whether you're a believer or not, understand that the principles that are being taught apply in your life, whether you believe or not. The principles remain the same. They're true, right? So with that said, there are universal laws and truths that you can apply, and you will get a result. Regardless of what your belief is, you will get a result. So when I first started in the finance space, I was really just talking numbers, all about numbers. But through working with Life180 and Chris, I started learning more about having real deeper conversations about values and beliefs, and really digging in to understand and help people to align their values and beliefs with their money, right? Which allows me to now serve my clients at a much higher level, right? So basically, the process is going to be, an intake call. Let's just see if we like each other, find out what you're looking for, what your needs are. And if in fact we feel like we're a good fit, then we're going to go through a values and beliefs interview, where we're going to really try to identify what your beliefs are, what your values are about life, about finances, fitness, about faith, about family, freedom, all of these things. And then based on that, we can measure if your belief system and values are aligned, or if you're actually living that, right? And if you are, great. If not, then we can identify where you're not, and then we can start talking about what steps to take to get aligned, right? And unfortunately, many times where we are out of alignment is in the financial spectrum, right? And it's not aligned with our faith beliefs. It's not aligned with our family beliefs. It's not, and so these things kind of melt together. They're overlapped, right? They blend together. And so at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is first identify that, and then get on track to resolve that and grow. Sometimes that means that we have to work on eliminating debt. Sometimes it means that we have to start that business that you've been dreaming about starting, and you've been afraid, and you don't know where to start. And I help you to form the business and get up and running. I'm also a business credit coach and a business finance expert, and I've been doing that for over 13 years with loans, startup loans, and 0% credit SBA loans for businesses. And so I help folks where they are and what they need to take the next step on their journey, and then ultimately help them to protect their money, protect their assets, and create a legacy for their children and their children's children. Because one thing for sure is that one day we are all going to die. We're not going to live forever. And when we leave this planet, our legacy is what we leave behind. Not just the finances, but the recipes, the stories, the memories, the teachings, the values that we teach our children. That is our legacy. And so by really approaching our conversation in a holistic approach, we're able to identify that, document it, and then perpetuate that through our legacy to our children for future generations. And that gives me joy and purpose. And so I know that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people. Right. And I feel blessed.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you do, because it's a lot of things that a lot of us at Life180 don't do. The debt side, you do a lot of things on the debt strategy side. Yeah. And the business credit side, that's some stuff I've recently learned more about from like Caleb Williams' channel. Yeah. And the importance of building business credit. But not many people know where to go for that stuff. So to have you on the channel, that's, if you guys need something like that, I guess, what are some of the key things that you find with people that need some of your strategies on the debt elimination side or the business side? What are those people's challenges? How would they know to connect with you in those situations?
Yeah. So, there's obviously there's personal debt, and then there's business debt.
Okay.
And you may have excellent personal credit and have bad business credit, or have no business credit at all, right? That's usually the case. Or you have bad personal credit. Now, bad personal credit isn't where you have a low credit score due to high credit card balances. That's over leveraged credit, right? Bad personal credit would be, late payments, collections, charge-offs, things that are derogatory, bankruptcies, right? These are negative derogatory issues. Now, I'm not a credit repair person, right? I could be if I wanted to, but that's a full-time job.
Sure.
To do that properly, to really help people and serve them at the highest level, you have to devote all of your time to doing that.
Okay.
And so I work with an expert for my clients that are in need of repair, right? And I make sure you understand the process and what that means, how it works with the 3 credit bureaus and the laws around credit repair. So you make sure you're educated in choosing to work with that credit repair person, right? And you can work with any repair person. It doesn't have to be the person I recommend. But ultimately, if you have bad credit, the statute of limitations is 7 years. So what I tell people is, look, you can wait it out, or you can take action. And it's one of those fights, it's one of those battles that's worth fighting, because otherwise you're going to be kind of stuck for about 7 years, if you don't do anything about it, right? Now, on the other side, there's bad debt credit or over-leveraged credit, where you have low credit scores because you have high credit card balances. Usually it's a credit card issue, too many high balances on credit cards. So then we start looking at, okay, well, how can we move money around to get the utilization on that credit reduced, so that we can open up the door to be able to access more funding, more credit, right? Now, there was a time where I thought of myself as a debt dealer. And I don't really like that, right? Because, it's debt. And at the end of the day, it's a necessary evil. But it is an evil, right? And it's necessary because if we're going to be, starting businesses, buying houses and cars and, making moves, you have to be able to leverage your credit to usually get into bigger financing opportunities, again, to start your business or buy a house, etc., right? So we need to use that debt, right? But how can we be a good steward of that debt? And how can we get out of it as quickly as possible? How can we pay it off? Man, these mosquitoes are getting me. I know. How can we get rid of that debt and as quickly as possible? And so, when I started learning about infinite banking, I also learned about velocity banking. And velocity banking, and you can combine that with infinite banking, allows you to eliminate debt at a faster pace, right? But it really starts with being a good steward and understanding basic financial principles first, and then using these strategies to speed up the process. But along the way, being a good steward and really treasuring your cash flow and leveraging that cash flow in a way that creates more cash flow, more wealth, while you're eliminating debt. And so that's where the infinite banking becomes so powerful, because it's the only real tool that we have access to where we can allow our money to do more than one thing at the same time for us, and then at the same time it's going to be recaptured and it's going to continue to grow, so we can use it again in the future for a different purpose, maybe for retirement or for that next major investment or next opportunity that we have. So that's why I love this, because it's solving problems now, but then it's also solving problems for the future, and then in the end it's setting us up to solve the problem of what we leave as our legacy financially to our family. So that's kind of what I bring to the table, and if someone needed help with credit, I'm happy to help them go through their credit report, understand it. And if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner and you need funding, then I can let you know what you're qualified for and what you have access to. And if you want to build your business credit, I would spend time to really help you to understand the difference between building your business credit and getting access to business credit cards. Big difference. And there's a lot of murky information on that because of people that are selling courses and that are selling their services, where they tell you that you're building business credit, but what they're really doing is just getting you business credit cards.
I see.
Right? Business credit cards don't really build the business credit. It does give you access to funding.
Right.
So there's a value to that.
Sure.
But let's be clear on what that is.
Yeah.
Where if you're building business credit, you're actually creating records of transactions with the credit bureaus, namely Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax Business Credit Division.
Okay.
Now, that's not necessarily going to get you funding right away.
Right.
It's more of an investment to build the credit profile so that you can get the funding in the future, whether it be an SBA loan or 0% credit cards on the business side, or even vehicles. You can buy vehicles in your business credit with no personal guarantee once you build up enough business credit. So just imagine, as a business owner, right? We all, as business owners, drive cars. Most of us own those cars in our personal credit,
Right.
which means it sits on our personal credit profile, increasing our debt-to-income ratio, right?
Yep.
Which means that we have less power to leverage credit for assets in our personal,
Yeah.
right? So what if we can move that vehicle over to the business so it doesn't show up on your personal credit at all? It becomes a business asset, and we're no longer trying to squeeze tax write-offs on that business, on that personal asset that we're using in the business.
Yeah.
Because now, since it's a business asset, it's a legitimate business tax deduction, right?
That's awesome.
So that's one of the values. But that could be things like, you know, if you're a PC person, Dell computers up to $100,000, MacBooks if you're an Apple guy up to $100,000. You know, no personal guarantee.
Wow.
But to get there, you have to build the credit.
Yeah.
Right, which is not the same as getting those business credit cards. Two different things.
Gotcha.
Right. So yeah, for me, it's really about transparency and understanding, you know, what it is that you're doing and where you are on your journey, and then helping you to get access to what it is that you're trying to, what that you need, so that you can grow your business, you can grow your personal finances, and reach your goals and take your life to where you really want to take it.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's a lot of the strategies that I do on my channel that you also do as well. But it's out of the box thinking. It's using the tools that a lot of people don't know are available to help solve problems that maybe we don't even understand we have, or to better go about a way of functioning in our business or in our finances. And I mean, just the example you gave there, it's like, wow, that I can think of so many people that probably have everything tied up in their personal credit, which limits their ability to function the way they want to in their personal finances because they own a business, and they get the tax deductions, but then that's one benefit that's offset by tying up their credit.
Right.
So if you could transition that over a period of time, now what does that period of time look like to establish some business credit? Is it 6 months, a year? What's that look like?
So to be able to like buy vehicles, cars, and computers and things like that, you're talking about between 8 to 12 months of building the credit.
Okay.
And the reason it takes so long is because it just takes time for data to reflect and report on the business credit bureaus.
Okay.
And you have to get a certain amount of accounts reporting on those business credit bureaus.
Okay, makes sense.
Now, if you're looking to get, let's say, $100,000 to $200,000 of 0% business credit cards, that might only take about 2 or 3 months of building up some business credit and establishing some relationships with different banks and institutions, so that you can get the maximum approvals on those 0% business credit cards.
Okay.
So again, you know, it all depends on what you're trying to achieve, as well as how much you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, so we're clear, on those business credit cards, those are still going to have a personal guarantee.
Gotcha.
Right? The car, the computers, those are assets. They're tangible, physical assets. They don't. You can remove the personal guarantee on them.
Okay.
Right? But a credit card is personally guaranteed because it's not an asset. It's unsecured.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no security for that. So therefore, they are going to require that personal guarantee.
Makes sense.
But if you have business credit, you can increase the approval amount and increase your chance of approval with, and you just have to have it to get approved with certain card companies.
Okay.
If you're trying to get approved for an SBA 7A loan and you have 2 years in business and the loan amount is $500,000 or less, then they look at a score. It's called the SBSS score, which is basically the small business scoring system that the SBA uses, where they combine your business credit, which is collected by the Small Business Financial Exchange, and they look at Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax business credit, and then they combine that with your personal credit to come up with their SBA SBSS score.
Okay.
If that score is below a certain threshold, you can have great revenue, you can have great personal credit, you're not going to get approved.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. It's crazy because if it's over 500,000, they don't look at that score. Then it's 100% personal guaranteed.
Okay.
They're not even looking at the business credit if it's over. But for most small businesses, a loan between 50 to 500,000 is what they're looking for. That's really where the SBA serves most businesses, right? That's where you can get an express loan or a fast track loan, right? But you have to have that credit score. The personal and the business have to line up. So if you're not prepared with your business credit, you may have everything else in position, and then you go get approved and you get declined. And 9 times out of 10, these banks don't tell you why. They just tell you didn't meet their criteria or some internal guidelines, and now you're like, okay, I guess, I don't know. You're just stuck. You're in the dark. Yeah. Well, there's a quote I like to say, which is that too many entrepreneurs and business owners' dreams die in the parking lot of banks.
Oh. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Well, great information, Sebastian. I appreciate you going into all this stuff. I mean, I think if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I need to know more about this, definitely connect with Sebastian. We'll put all of his channel info in the description below. Make sure you check out his channel. He's got tons of information. We'll have to have you back. We got to do some more content together so I can have you on the channel and share more of what you do, because it's awesome. I think it's an overlooked necessity that people probably don't even know they need these types of resources. So I'm happy to be connected with you through Life 180, my friend. And
thank you.
Have those. So any specific way people could get a hold of you other than just your channel?
The channel is at The Approved Guy. That's my website is theapprovedguy.com.
Cool.
And on the website, you can schedule a free consult. Those are the 2 ways you get to me as quickly as possible.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Well, appreciate doing content with you, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Click the like notification buttons. Make sure you know when more content comes out. And if you have any comments on this, if you want to ask Sebastian any questions, please leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.